Dave Chappelle was decapitated in front of us. Then when he made $500 million, they said even though his contract said he should get half of it, they said he made too much for the contract to be valid.
Did your wife and children know where you were going?
No.
No, nobody knew.
No. I bounced.
Now, that sounds a little crazy.
It's not crazy because the situation kind of warranted it.
The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy, they're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Many believe Dave left a $50 million deal because he couldn't handle the pressure, but the truth is different. According to Katt Williams and recently surfaced documents, the actual figure wasn't $50 million. It was closer to $500 million, $500 million, which Chappelle's show generated for Comedy Central. Under the contract, Dave was entitled to half of that amount. But when he tried to claim it, the narrative suddenly shifted. Oprah labeled him paranoid on her show, and the network offered a lowball contract as if doing him a favor. When Dave refused to comply, they didn't just pull his show. They attempted to undermine him entirely.
I mean, he made $500 million and they offered him 50? Yes. And he said, what do you think my fans are going to say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? And they said, your fans will believe that you're a crazy crackhead by the
In the early 2000s, television was very different from today. Reality programs were gaining dominance while traditional sitcoms were fading, and cable channels were searching for new ideas. That's when Dave arrived with Chappelle's show. The series transformed the landscape entirely. Each week, Dave delivered social commentary cleverly wrapped in sketch comedy. He tackled topics like racism, government, and Hollywood, all while making audiences laugh until they cried.
Excuse me, not sure we're in the right place. We're looking for Clayton Bigsby.
Well, look no further, fella, you found me.
Clayton Bigsby, the author?
What, you don't think I can write them books? Just 'cause I'm blind don't mean I'm dumb.
How could this have happened? A black white supremacist.
What about people who say you're only interested in the Middle East for oil?
What? Huh? Oil? Who said something about oil, bitch? You cooking? Oh. The only way I open the studio up now, y'all gotta walk uptown to the Bronx and get breast milk from a Cambodian immigrant. I only drink the finest breast milks.
Dave never shied away from making people uncomfortable, even those signing his paychecks. Yet the show was a massive success. DVDs were selling rapidly and Comedy Central's ratings soared. The network earned so much from Chappelle's show that it became a cornerstone of their brand. But here's the key point. While the show generated hundreds of millions, Dave received only a small fraction. That's where the story starts to shift. Once the profits reached a certain level, the dynamics changed, and so did the rules. At the time, Dave's contract didn't allow him to openly address what was happening. That's when Katt Williams stepped in. According to Katt, Chappelle's show didn't just make a few million, it brought in $500 million. $500 million, and Dave was contractually entitled to half of that, roughly $250 million. But when it came time to pay him, Comedy Central claimed he had earned too much for his original contract to remain valid. Imagine creating the network's biggest hit, seeing them profit massively off your work, and then having the terms suddenly rewritten. That's when the notorious $50 million offer appeared. It wasn't a new deal, it was hush money, essentially saying, take this small amount and continue or walk away with nothing. Dave recognized the trap. Signing meant relinquishing control not only of the show but of his image, his voice, and his ideas. And you already know what happens when artists push back and demand what they're owed. That's when character attacks begin. As Katt explained, they aim to destroy your reputation before challenging your contract, and he wasn't exaggerating. Those who remember that period know that after the contract dispute with Comedy Central, Dave disappeared to Africa without telling his family. Consider that. Why would someone go to such lengths unless they felt genuinely threatened? Actual physical danger. When Dave returned and appeared on Oprah, he revealed the full extent. He wasn't just labeled crazy, he was pressured to take antipsychotic medication.
And I bounced. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication. Yeah. Like I'm sitting around, I was stressed out, but the people that were telling me I was insane, I believed that they knew what was going on. So, this was troublesome.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you or maybe discredit you. I was afraid,
But you were stressed out. That's
there's
why.
no question. But it's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you and say, you're insane. Oh, hey, how about this? I showed up to work the first week, and where my office used to be, they built a wall there.
Why?
I didn't know why. But it came out later that they were like, well, they said you wanted it. I don't want to be walled up in the office. I like hanging.
And that's when public perception of Dave shifted almost instantly. One moment, he was considered America's top comedian, and the next, he was being labeled as unstable. The media quickly adopted a uniform narrative. Dave Chappelle rejects $50 million. Dave Chappelle retreats to Africa. Dave Chappelle experiences a mental breakdown. The repetition was clear. It was a carefully orchestrated PR campaign, not just random gossip. Dave himself later confirmed this. Once he began challenging certain sketches and raising concerns about the show's direction, the behavior of those around him changed noticeably. He told Oprah that when he refused to compromise on specific roles, the narrative flipped immediately. The intent seemed clear, to frame him as the source of the problem.
From $50 million.
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances
Uh-huh.
that were coming with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It takes a while when you punch through to adjust to the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, they're trying to kill me.
Yeah. Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
And once that crazy label gets attached to you, it's over. Your reputation is finished. The headlines take care of the rest. The same pattern has repeated with Katt, Britney, Kanye, and countless others before them. It always plays out the same way. Challenge your handlers, get branded as unstable, and watch your career unravel. And honestly, that's the better outcome. Because if the smear campaign fails, if the audience doesn't accept the crazy narrative, or if your fan base is too loyal to let you be canceled, things tend to get much darker. Hollywood has its own way of making people disappear for good.
A lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
And it always begins the same way. A mysterious plane crash, an overdose, or an accidental drowning in a bathtub. The tragic part is that once the idea of you being unstable is planted, no one bothers to question what really happened. We've witnessed it repeatedly. Celebrities who start speaking out about contracts, exploitation, or the people truly in control suddenly vanish. And every time their story is conveniently packaged into a neatly written tragic headline.
Publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen.
When you look at Dave's story, the fact that he not only turned down a $50 million contract but also left for another continent without even informing his wife shows how severe the pressure must have been behind the scenes. You don't make a move like that unless you truly fear for your safety. In that sense, the fact that Dave walked away alive is remarkable. We've seen how the system operates: discredit your name, gaslight you, push medication, twist contracts, and strip away everything you've worked for. Many artists can't withstand that pressure. Some get trapped, others never recover. But Dave refused to comply. He recognized the manipulation, exposed it, and walked away. He survived the ordeal and eventually made a powerful comeback. Still, there's another perspective. Some longtime fans from the Chappelle Show era believe he's changed. They say his comedy feels different now, more restrained, less willing to challenge the system like before. And at times, his humor seems to target the audience more than the powers he once stood up against.
Not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those they got.
But perhaps that's part of what surviving entails. The system doesn't just aim to destroy you financially, it works to soften you, ensuring that when you return, you don't dismantle everything in your path. Dave did manage to recover, but at a significant cost. His principles kept him alive, yet that fearless, unfiltered voice that defined his Chappelle Show era isn't as prominent anymore. Yes, Dave is back. He's wealthy, his influence remains, but the version of him who walked away from $500 million and openly challenged the system may never fully return. Now the questions remain. Was Dave Chappelle's life truly at risk back then, prompting his escape to Africa? And the Dave we see performing today, is he the same comedian from the Chappelle Show era? Or did surviving the system reshape both him and his comedy?